Good morning, Steve with CCI here. For the past 25 years, we've helped over 4,000 laundries maximize their profit potential and give them the freedom and time to work on their business instead of in their business. And today I thought I would spend a few minutes talking about the return on investment with payment systems. And keep in mind, because there are various types of payment systems out there, the return on investment varies a little bit depending on how you decide to operate. As I've mentioned in previous videos, you have the ability to run with coin or without coin. Today I'm going to focus primarily on running without coin. So this would be leveraging a card system that could include accepting credit and debit card directly at the washer and dryer. It could include a loyalty card system where you get a debit card, use a debit or credit card to get a loyalty card out of a kiosk. Use cash if you want as well. And then at the washer and dryer, you are using only some type of card payment at the washer and dryer. In some examples, you can also use a mobile app, but in the ROI discussion, we're going to talk about eliminating coin and why the benefit of that is so valuable and how that becomes one of the key ROI factors when making an investment in a payment system. The ROI comes in two factors. The first one is penny incremental pricing. And we don't spend enough time reviewing the power of penny incremental pricing. Historically, laundromats have always vended to the nearest quarter, and that has served the industry well for many years. But as any existing laundry owner knows, utilities do not go up and down in 25-cent increments. They don't go in any set increment. And so the ability to maintain a profit margin, which is the difference between what your cost is to process laundry and versus what you vend it for, is strictly adhered to whether or not you can adjust your vend prices along with your utility price changes. We have fixed costs, we have equipment payments, we have rent and mortgages and things like that that are fixed costs. We build that into our pro forma when we're building out a new store or getting a loan for a retool. But the flexible costs have to do with the rising and lowering potentially costs of utilities. And if you don't have the ability to raise and lower your vend prices in association with that, you will just lose margin, you'll lose profit. So by eliminating coin, we can start to introduce vend prices that don't land on the 25-cent mark. And that's incredibly powerful. So instead of being $4.50 for a wash, you can be $4.62, 69 cents. There's various retail strategies that we've seen, Walmart and other retailers, that you certainly will never see them land a retail price on a 5 or a 0. It's always going to be on a 9 or a 7. And why don't we do the same things in the laundry industry? So when you can do that, you're able to maintain a profit margin that is in line with what you expected when you got into the business. And without that, what happens is you end up either lowering the service. So that means maybe lowering dryer times, removing cycle steps in the wash to account for the increase in utilities if you want to maintain your profit margin. And customers don't typically like when the service changes. My experience has been they'd much rather pay a little bit more than to have the service deducted for the same amount of money. Or they take a shorter profit. And that happens way too often in our industry. And the term zombie mat, which has been coined by Brian Grell and has been used heavily over the last few years. If nobody's asked us, how does a store become a zombie mat? And the reality is it comes from not maintaining a profit margin, not making the proper investments in your store, and not maintaining an appropriate profit margin. When you continue to reduce the service, not maintain the profit margin that you got in this business for, then things go sideways. You stop investing, you stop making as much money, you don't have as much money anymore to reinvest in the store, and eventually you end up with a rundown, tired location with old equipment that is not performing well. The way to avoid that is to make sure that you are vending your equipment for the appropriate amount, and that when your utilities go up and down, that you have the ability to adjust your vend prices up and down. With a card system, you have the ultimate flexibility in doing so. And that alone generally is an amazing way to account for the high investment that it costs to put in these types of systems. So that's the first element. The second element is float or credit balance. And this term gets tossed around a bit. And some people don't like the idea of it, but the truth is that it's real. It has a big impact on your return on investment. If you think about the way a traditional laundry operates, your customers use your change machines, get coins, and they pay for the machines as they go. And they leave with whatever quarters they don't use in the machine, but they pay as they go. When you go to a card solution, primarily a loyalty card solution, they pay you in advance and then use the balance that they have added to their cards over time, which for one is why we call them loyalty card systems, because if they leave with some money remaining on their loyalty card, that is loyalty to return. They have pre-invested in you. They are less likely to go to another store. And you can encourage them to add more funds to that card and make them more loyal to your store. But the idea that there's this dollar amount that sits on the card that is not spent is called float. And what we have seen time and time again, year after year after year, is this float accumulates over time. Considering that our primary customers are renters, most of our locations are renter locations. They're transient, they move, they relocate. And so they may not go in and get a refund on their card, if you even support refunds. They just move on. So there is this unclaimed amount that accumulates over time. It's a lot. Go look at the restaurant industry. Go look at all the retail businesses out there that sell gift cards. They love selling gift cards because of the unclaimed balance on those cards. Now, in our industry, it's a little unique. It's not quite as strong as, let's say, a restaurant, because people do return every week or every other week to do their laundry. But there's still this dollar amount between what they've added to their account or their card and what they've spent. And what we have seen is that dollar amount alone over the course of a couple of years typically will pay for the investment to put a card system in. So between penny incremental pricing and maintaining the appropriate profit margin in your business, and float, which is having your customers pay you in advance and maintaining loyalty to your business, that pays for it. That's the ROI. And we can show you that on a simple spreadsheet. We can look at an existing store's performance that's running by quarters and show you by adjusting the penny incremental pricing what kind of increased profit that you would maintain. And we can show you how the investment is worthwhile. So that's my thought for this morning. Interested in what you have to think about it, what you have to say, and we're interested in answering more questions that you have about payment systems, the laundry industry, and anything in between. Have a great day.